Okay, so it's late, but I'm finally getting to this. Internet was down. I'm going to be a quick one here, but I'm going to cover the daily range. I'm going to cover the 1 hour PD arrays, 15 and 5 minute breakers, the time of day. This morning, I want to note that one of the things I did as a reminder was I read through my daily bias formula first. Every bullet point I treated as a pre flight checklist before I started looking at the charts. I was tempted to just start looking and start deciding what I thought it meant. But instead of doing that, I read through the page, and I was surprised at how easy it was to mark everything out, kind of methodically work through it. That was interesting. I'm gonna try the same thing tomorrow. You know, one of the things I'd done before is just delete all my drawings and have to redraw them, and that was kind of a reset process. So that said, um, let's go ahead and get into it. Now I'm going to show you. Let's go here and look at the daily range. I wish the workflows were a little easier to show, but the daily range here, I use this daily range low as a fair value gap low. But that's interesting. Look, if you use that daily range low there, see that there? That's kind of interesting. That turns out to be the daily range low. Neato. I use the fair value gap, and if we do use the daily range low, yeah, okay, there it is. That's fascinating. We'll have to go back to that. I'll leave that like that and we'll go back to it and look at it. But that is very interesting. Good finding, right? Daily range high hasn't changed. I just moved the daily range low up. It's really all I did from yesterday. All right, so you can see why I chose that one. And then this is the fair value gap high right there. So that's the next PD array up. You could have chose consequent engagement or consequent encroachment. Could have chosen that. Um, right there. But I see no reason to do that. And I guess that's already filled. So I guess what you do is you do this, and then I don't know. It's not really an interesting price. It doesn't really show or do anything valuable. I don't think. So, anyways, I think I chose the right thing. So then we go down to the 1 hour, and what do we do? Well, and that's interesting because that has all of this in premium, which would have had me forcing shorts here. So I'm really glad I did what I did. Wouldn't have been thinking to buy here. Yeah, so really smart. Glad I did what I did. That's good. I love that confirmation. So you see down into the 1 hour, everything I have here. I saw a 1 hour breaker in this, or I saw a 1 hour mitigation block here, and also a breaker right there. So I thought this might get tested, this area in the AM. And I personally thought that we would get all the way down to that before we go higher, but that's irrelevant. But this, I only put this on. This was not here in the AM. So it looked like that in the morning because that was, in my mind, premium. If you bring that back, you'll see that the equilibrium's right around, like right around here or so. So like this was not, this was in discount, and so it's not a short location. But that was, and then these two blocks here were. So obvious buy side being here only because the daily range is up there. There was no real obvious sell side until this was left. Like once we left, then that became obvious sell side, which the afternoon ended up taking. So then you go down to the 15-minute, you walk through the narrative, and actually I'm going to go ahead and pull this all the way back to, let's go ahead and pull it all the way back to 8 o'clock. All right, so what do you have at 8 o'clock? You have the, get rid of that. You have the afternoon session running up higher, Asian session coming up, coincident with you got a double top high. The London session breaks the Asian session low, holds up, dives down into these sessions, and then breaks those lows. I count this as 1 attempt to displace, 2 attempts to displace, 3 attempts to displace. So this is important. Usually, if you even get one more, then you're pretty sure it's going to turn around. But at 8. So what we see here is that this was broken at 4 o'clock after the London session. So we're between the London session and the New York AM session. So what we really want to see is the New York AM session starting at 8 o'clock break the Asian low. Now, I didn't notice if it did. I didn't pay attention to it this morning. I didn't see it. So let's just see if we see that. Nope, we don't. So it doesn't look like it comes down. So that now we're at 9:15. Okay, so this is the market breaker that I marked off. So you have 1 attempt, 2 attempts, 3 attempts, new high, 4th attempt, new high, 5th attempt. Okay, so this is a bear bear flag. We don't trust those. Like not in discount, we don't trust those. We don't think that's going to go short. We think that's going to go long. I did expect it to dive down into this higher time frame breaker with all of that there. I had them lined out. Now, the reason I said, okay, that is a breaker, that is, that does meet my requirements. But I don't think of the 6 o'clock hour as anything special. And it didn't displace higher. It didn't come all the way up to here and then pull back, which is what I would have wanted to see. But regardless, it does dive down and sure enough, shoot right up. And now this is an interesting thing because it ran so far and so fast. The impulse was to start shorting it because by the time it got up there, it was it's 10 o'clock. So you're thinking, oh, okay, well, got here at 10 o'clock, so it's going to rush down, right? So you want to be on the other side of that, right? Wrong. No, the bias is bullish. It's in premium. So what do? Nothing. Nothing. You just sit and wait. You wait for an opportunity. It runs out that high, and it's waiting for 10:30 to turtle soup, which it ends up doing. But for me, a 10:30 turtle soup, unless it happens perfectly and I perfectly catch it, there's nothing for me to do. I mean, I'm basically done. I've seen what I wanted to see. I hit my target. I'm where I want to be. And so everything's fine as far as that goes. So as far as an opportunity goes, I was looking for a pullback here and then also here. And then when we got all the way up here. So I did have a limit order that bought this breaker right there as soon as that was tagged, but I had walked away from it. So it was just sim, and it runs up 20 points and then right back down through it. Lunch session comes up, fails, tests this order block, and then just drops like a rock. Excuse me, that's not exactly true. See, now that's an interesting finding here because that breaks that has cleared that out as far as I'm concerned. So I would expect us to go through the top of that. But what's interesting is, and I don't know if there was news or something like that, but that sell-off is magnificent. That is delightful. And to know that it goes all the way down to the daily range low is just a thing of beauty. The daily range low that we had yesterday is a thing of freaking beauty. And where does it go? Takes liquidity. Let's see what happens. What time? 15. And then you've got this recapitalize order block right there, or breaker right there. Stop right there. What happens? Oop. Does it take it out? Oh yeah, boom, yuck. Well, you get some onside, a manageable trade before you get whacked. And then 15.45, but that's at the close, and you wouldn't buy that anyways. But regardless, to me, I don't know how to get short in these situations. Like if I don't catch it here, it's like I don't see how to do it. And I'm just glad that I'm not watching this trying to get long, thinking it's bullish, and like right here, as soon as it comes back here, are you trying to get long again? Probably. But it's taking liquidity up here, so it's going to have to take liquidity down here somewhere, and you've got clean lows kind of right there, and you have them marked off. So obviously expect that to be taken, and then you're waiting for it to to displace or fail to displace. You can't just like start buying. So as you go to the presentation, let's bring this over here real quick. We'll just cover this real quick. Wednesday, of course, weekly template is a trend potentially, or Wednesday high of week. So it looks like Wednesday might be the high week. We'll find out. There was 10 a.m. news, which produced a big run up. We're above the new week opening gap. We were. I didn't take any longs. The yesterday's PM session and Asian low in premium were taken. So that suggested that we were going to go higher. There was a bullish bias. We're down a discount. The draw to the daily range high and the daily fair value gap high was the draw. We didn't get there, but we also had risk flows. So that means, people are looking to buy. In bullish conditions, this is what I wrote down. We had a 930 breaker. Failure to so just work through the narrative. Asian PM and New York session break, failed to displace, run up higher. Asian session created, breaks and displaces. It does displace. So the question becomes: is this a pullback or is this a displacement to go short? Well, it's a pullback into discount because it breaks the Asian or the PM session low 1, 2, 3, 4 times, attempts to displace lower and cannot displace lower. So this is a pullback rather than a move lower. Compare that to the afternoon session where it just keeps going. It doesn't stop. It just goes through the session liquidity and it just keeps trucking. So that's how you know the difference between displacement and pullback. So you see here at 1 o'clock or the 5-minute session, what you basically had is a 1 minute marker or 1 minute candle that came straight down, straight back up. 931 came down halfway down and then stopped right there, basically right there, and then it just took off. And it never even came back for a fair gap, value gap, nothing. It just reached, and then died. So that's kind of a formula there too for something like in terms of a turnaround. So just to take it back, showed you the daily range, premium discount. We showed that layout to show high time frame turning points, which proved predictable today. And that was our template to avoid fighting incorrect bias. Worked today. I've noted the impulses to go short because you're in premium and you thought this pullback can't keep going. Yes, a displacement can keep going. So be aware of that. I showed the 1 hour PDA raise where price was likely to turn and be respected, and it did work. Model pays on the 15 and 5 at the time of day. So that concludes this trading day.